Alright, now let's look at the B part of the question 1, which says that if x is a quarter of its supplementary angle, find x. If x is a quarter of its supplementary angle, find x. Okay, so the key words here are quarter and then supplementary angle. We know that a quarter in mathematics can be written as 1 out of 4. We have also learned that supplementary angles are two angles that when you add them, you get 180 degrees. So you can start by writing or stating that supplementary angles add up or sum up to 180 degrees. And this is just an illustration of what supplementary angles are. The first angle they said is x. Angles that add up to 180 are supplementary angles. It means that when we add this angle to this angle, we are supposed to get what? 180. So if this angle is x, then it automatically means that when we subtract x from 180 degrees, we should get the value of this angle. So this is just an illustration of what the question is demanding. One side of the angle is x. Angles in a straight line are also 180. That is why we are representing it by this diagram. These two angles are supplementary because when we add them together, they are supposed to give us what? 180 degrees. And if one side of the angle has been given as x, then it means when we subtract that x from 180 degrees, we should get the value of this angle as well. Alright, so let's move on. Yes, so as we've said, if the first angle, that is this angle, is x degrees, then it means the second angle, which is this side, should be 180 minus x, because when we subtract x from 180 degrees, it should give us this side of the angle. Now, from the question states that x is a quarter of its supplementary angle. This is the angle x. This is the angle that is supplementary to this x. Supplementary in the sense that this is the angle that the 180 minus x here, this angle here, is what we can add to this x to give an angle of 180 degrees. So we can also call x supplementary to this angle. We are calling this supplementary to x. You can use it interchangeably. X is supplementary to 180 minus x, and 180 minus x is also supplementary to x. I hope you get it. So when two angles are supplementary, you can say that one of them is supplementary to the other. And the question says that x is a quarter of its supplementary angle. So mathematically, you can write it in this way. X, the S in the question stands for equal to sign here. So x is a quarter. We know that a quarter means 1 out of 4 or 1 over 4. So x is a quarter of its supplementary angle. This is the supplementary angle to x, as we have seen in the diagram here. 180 minus x is supplementary to x, because when we add x to 180 minus x, we are supposed to get what? 180. You can even write it mathematically on your own to see whether you get 180. Just write x plus 180 minus x. You realize that your answer is going to be 180 degrees. So a way of understanding the question is is trying to picture it. When you picture it, it helps you to solve the question easily. Read the question again. It says x is a quarter. This is the quarter. That is 1 out of 4 of its supplementary angle. X is a quarter of its supplementary angle. So mathematically, we have been able to write this word problem in a mathematics form to help us to solve for the value of x. I hope you get it. So moving on, this expression here, 1 over x multiplied by 180 minus x, we can also write it in this form, 180 minus x over 4. Why? Because we can look at this 180 minus x as if we are dividing it by 1. That means we can multiply the numerators, 180 minus x by 1, and then 4 also by 1. We know that any number multiplied by 1 is the number itself. So 180 minus x, and then being divided by 4. On the left hand side, we already have our x. Then continuing, since we have 4 dividing 180 minus x, we can use an LCM of 4 to multiply the right hand side by 4 and then multiply the left hand side by 4. That is what we have done here. We use this 4 here. We multiply the left hand side by 4 and then we multiply the right hand side by 4. We have said that we can visualize the equal to sign as if it is a bridge. So whatever we do on the right hand side, we have to do the same thing on the left hand side to keep the balance. We want to keep the balance. So whatever you do on the left hand side, you have to do the same thing on the right hand side. So that is what we have done. And then we know that 4 times x, we can write it simply as 4x because what? We are matured. Right. So you can write 4 times x as 4x. And then this 4 that is dividing here, that is this denominator, we can use it to cancel this 4 that is being multiplied here. So that on the right hand side, we'll be left with only 180 minus x. I have color coded this minus x here because I want you to know that since this is negative x, we have to what? We have to what? We have to group like terms. That is, this negative x would move to the left hand side and join his friend here, which is 4x. So that is what has been done here. Negative x, when it crosses the equal to sign, it becomes what? Positive. It was negative on the right hand side. When it crosses to the left hand side, it becomes positive. So on the right hand side, we only have what? 180. 4x plus x will give us 5x. This is 4x. This is just 1x. So when we add them, we get 5x. And then if we want to make x the subject, we have to divide both sides by 5. That is, we divide the left hand side by 5, then we divide the right hand side also by 5. This is similar to what we did on this step. We multiplied the left hand side by 4, then we multiplied the right hand side by 4. This time we are dividing both sides of the equal to sign by 5 because we want to make x the subject. When we divide here by 5, this 5 here will cancel this 5, so that on the left hand side we have x as is clearly seen here. And when you do this division well, 180 divided by 5, you're going to get 36. And remember that x is an angle. So when you write this 36, don't forget to add your degree sign. So x equals 36 degrees. Then you can finally write or finalize everything by writing this statement. Therefore, x is 36 degrees. I hope you understand. Go through it again and try and see if you can solve the questions on your own. That is how we are learning. All right. So when we are done, we move to the next question.